Chris Casaleggio, it's great to sit down with you and get some more time. We did this a few weeks ago, but I didn't get to really probe you on your career, and that's why it's such a great time to sit down during Insurance Careers Month and hear a little bit about your story. So, can you tell everyone who are you and what is it that you do?
Yeah, sure. Glad to be here again. My name's Chris Casaleggio. I'm a department manager in the forensics unit at H2M Architects and Engineers. We are a vendor to the claims industry. So our forensic engineers, architects, and scientists, they're helping adjusters every day. They're investigating, helping them make coverage liability decisions when they need an expert. We're more of a regional company, so we're New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Virginia. So we're kind of expanding all the time. And
Northeast.
yeah, so and
Yeah.
and soon enough we're getting a little bit more west. We're very excited to get towards the Pittsburgh areas as we make our way west.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great to see growth, right? That's always a good thing. How did you start? Like you're in a claims role. You've been in claims roles through much of your career, or maybe your whole insurance career. How did you get that start to begin with in claims?
Yeah, so I guess it's an interesting story. I was actually watching a video on Tom Brady and his backup plan to be an insurance salesman like his dad.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, he was pretty successful with sports. For me, not so much. I wanted to be a hockey and baseball player growing up. That kind of evolved to maybe I'll work in management for a sports team. And then that kind of changed when I discovered I liked writing. I became a sports writer. So
Wow.
that was my backup plan, kind of the sports writing. So while I'm doing that, a friend says, Travelers Insurance is hiring. No experience necessary, just need a degree. You will double your salary. So I'm like, that's, I might as well take a shot on that. So, I took the plunge into claims that way, started doing that full time and working, I guess, on the ground level, handling first party auto claims.
And I mean, after that sort of like starting role or intro role, that frankly, like the sports writing and sports management career sounds, I'm sure there's a lot of people like, oh, you should have done that.
Yeah.
But you got into a really great path. So where did you go from that start that you got at Travelers?
Yeah, so Travelers was a good experience, and it was, very high volume auto claims. You could get 10 a day. I did see a lot of stress from some coworkers during that time, but a great career, a great start to a career. A lot of great training that I got at Travelers. I took a little different route. I went into liability claims for a third-party administrator. I handled rental car claims.
Okay.
So that was interesting. And then I moved to the Philadelphia area. I took a job with Liberty Mutual, handling a little bit more complex claims. As you kind of go through with experience, you get, a little more difficult claims. And then I went to Chubb and handled personal lines, commercial lines, and complex claims. And that was very interesting. A lot of, very big accounts that you handled. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that
You
was
get to see
kind of,
some variety.
yeah, definitely. So, and then I came to H2M with kind of a unique role.
Yeah, I mean that's again like that's I see this path of complexity, variety, getting into some different things as you continue to progress in
Yeah.
your career. There's something else that you did that now that I know your original plan with the sports writing, I've
Yeah.
always wondered, you've written a book, you've been a part of some others. How did you make that leap or decide and your book's about adjusting claims? How did that come to be a thing and what was your motivation to work on a book and obviously tell people what the book is?
Yeah. So the book is Adjusting to a Career in Property and Casualty Claims. It's available at adjustingbook.com. But yeah, so that's really coming full circle back to the writing. I think always something I wanted to do at the different carriers. I was kind of taking notes of, how people could look at things differently. I think every company that I worked at had a lot of different processes. Um, and a lot of the coworkers had kind of the same stress levels. And it was really
Yeah.
a book that just some of the lessons that I took in, how I could help those coworkers. If you look at reviews, I think of different carriers from the best to, maybe some people say the worst. Um, there's always, people might put negative feedback, but there's always that positive feedback about the coworkers.
Yeah.
You know, negative might be micromanagement or or this or that, but it's always like, but great coworkers. And I always thought about that, and I wanted to do something with my writing skills to kind of maybe ease that stress, because it is a stressful career. So that was kind of the motivation for the book.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that in that book and some of the other work that you've done kind of for the industry. It's a mix of, how to be successful in the work itself, but also recognizing it's really hard work. And there are a lot of stressors, yes, on the corporate side, maybe a bad boss or, corporate kind of like the weight of being in a large organization or the rules or what have you, but then also just you're dealing with tough things that people face in their lives every day. And sometimes it gets a little bit adversarial and I think people can burn out on that, or they can get turned off on that, or get into a bit of a spiral. And so I've always really appreciated when we think about insurance careers, that position that you have in trying to help people navigate through that, because it doesn't have to be that way, even if it's hard. Now, I think your book does a really good job of helping people kind of navigate through that difficulty. I do want to pivot a little bit because you're on the vendor side now. You had this career with carriers, and I know you were at a TPA for a bit as well, but then you're at H2M working on extremely different stuff than you did certainly at the start of your career with those auto claims. How do you stay close to those roots that you had, and kind of what the adjusting world looks like for the folks in the front line handling the claims, since you're at sort of, an expert that's in support of that adjusting work?
Yeah, it's actually very interesting, and I might be more involved now because we have, let's say, 30 different carriers we're working with, so in different types of claims too. So
Yeah.
I'm probably on the phone with 3 or 4 adjusters a day just talking through a claim, and that's kind of one of the services we offer as well. With a couple of our people have claims experience as well, so we can kind of talk the talk with the adjusters, de-stress with them a little bit, kind of say, let's go through that claim. Do you really need an engineer? Or is there a different route? So I kind of enjoy those conversations on a daily basis. I'm probably overseeing about 400 projects a year on different claims. So um, also webinars, we're running a lot of those. I'm going to announce a couple coming up this year for Texas and Florida adjuster CE credits. So that's a big thing. Another thing is, to be honest, like great networking events like PLRB is one that we always go to, and we want to be there at the Eastern region, have a presence, and meet some of those adjusters. So I think now I have a little bit more time to stay more involved in joining LinkedIn discussions and things like that, whereas claims, it was focused on just the work. And
Yeah.
I think I can be a little bit more helpful to the industry now in this role.
That's interesting. It's a chance to sort of get a more well-rounded or kind of cross-sectional engagement in lots of different things going on at different carriers versus just the one that you would get to see at Liberty or Chubb or Travelers. Well, I hope I get to see you at PLRB's claims conference in March. We haven't gotten to meet in person, I don't think. So this would be the first. We've met over Zoom, obviously, but
Yeah.
it'll be good to see you there. But I appreciate this. I think it's such an important industry for people to think about from a career standpoint. And obviously, you and I are probably biased, but claims is a great place to do that. So I love getting to bring stories from folks like yourself who have been navigating that career path to share with others. So thank you for joining me today and doing a bit of that.
Thank you for having me.